fortunately there are wonderful people out there who have translated some of the ancient texts, like Bhagwan Dash, for example, and it's wonderful, and it makes it easy for people like me, that I don't have to study Sanskrit for 15 years, to translate this stuff for you. So Aryuveda is a very ancient system of healing that comes from East India, and I'm very partial to it because it is a great way to be Sherlock Holmes. Aryuveda teaches you how to figure out the cause of something, and it does it better than a lot of other modalities. So that's Aryuveda. Naturopathy, if you can envision a big umbrella, and underneath the umbrella would be Aryuveda, Chinese medicine, the curanderos from Mexico, all the metunetter from Egypt, all these different types of healing strategies that come from all over the world that are indigenous. That would be naturopathy. It incorporates anything, including massage therapy, that is considered a holistic way to heal your body.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for clarifying. I'm learning so much today. You're so fascinating. Do we have like 17 more hours, Mitch, just to interview Phyllis?
Because I can talk for 17 hours. I'll tell you that right now.
You're going to have to be a reoccurring guest.
No problem.
So how is Ayurveda connected to research around the areas of disease?
Well, what I love about Ayurveda is that it breaks disease down into more of a micro issue. It's not about, when you really begin to study Ayurveda, you realize it's not about the disease. It's not about the cancer. It's not about the autoimmune disease. It's not about the bronchitis. This is something that I learned in my journey. People want to grab on to arthritis and make it a part of their identity.
Oh, yes.
But all disease is formed the exact same way. Every single disease is. So it really doesn't matter what the specific disease is, and what Ayurveda teaches you is that when you begin to learn the stages of disease, it doesn't matter what disease you can learn how to reverse the course of disease.
Oh, fantastic. And when you write the term disease, you always write it with a hyphen, so it's dis-ease.
Exactly, because I want the point to be hammered home that all disease is lack of ease in the body. If it is a heart attack, it is lack of ease that has chosen to manifest itself in the heart. If it is any other function, if it's arthritis, it has chosen to manifest itself in the bones and in the joints. It's lack of ease in the body. If you can wrap your mind around that concept and let go of the word arthritis and start treating it as lack of ease in the body, we can take that away, and then the arthritis and the cancer and the whatever can disappear.
And as you're working in synergy in all of these different modalities that you've been trained in, how do you find, or where do you find that the mind of the client that you're working with comes into? What do you find the right thinking needs to be?
Oh, it's huge. That is a huge question. Now we're into our 17 hours, girl. We go 17 hours talking about that one.
It's a new telethon.
Yeah, you know what? Send in your pledge. Woo, my goodness. Yeah, we could talk for a good long time. The mind is huge. The mind is one of the main reasons why I incorporate a lot of modalities. What really happened to me is this, Brandy. I started studying Ayurveda. It helped me with the bronchitis, and I had bronchitis for 27 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And I literally coughed up blood. I had to be heavily medicated, and I kept saying, okay, every year I get bronchitis. Every year they increase the medication, and every year that follows, I get bronchitis. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Something has to happen. And so this is this mind thing that we're dealing with is huge. Everywhere you go in the media, people talking, everything that you do is kind of, in our society, is kind of structured around ill health. It's really wonderful for the pharmaceutical industry, though, because if we could just keep you, functional enough, but sick enough to need the pharmaceuticals, you'll need it for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And so this is a huge problem. The mind is incredible. The reason why I have to use different types of modalities is not because I think it's fun to pull a whole bunch of different things out of the air. The reason why I do it is because you can't hear it. You can't hear it. There's one thing that I want to tell you to do, but you won't do it because either your religious background will keep you from hearing it, or social reasons, or your family will think you're crazy or whatever the case may be. So it really is a dance and an art. I've heard a lot about, that whole saying, the healing arts, right? Mm-hmm. Healing is an art, and it really is a dance that I do with my clients. I'm like, okay, they can't hear that. Okay, what can they hear? They won't do this. Well, what will they do? Mm-hmm. How can I get them to move in the direction that will put them on the path to healing? And a lot of my clients, they know that I'm going to slap them a little. I'm going to say, look, if you want these results, you're going to have to do some work. And they'll try to backtrack. They'll try to put it on, like, nope, now you know better. You know you're not going to roll up in here, and I'm going to tell you, okay, you just keep on doing the same old thing, and you take this herb, this magic herb, and your problem's going to go away. So it is a mind thing, and I tell people all the time, and most of my clients are so sick of hearing this, but I am Morpheus. You're Neo.
Yay!
You're Neo. You don't know you're Neo yet.
Right.
Right now the bullet can kill you, but now we're going to learn how to dodge bullets. And then by the end of this, you're going to die to self, and then you're going to see the bullets coming, and you're going to realize that you have the power, not the bullets of life. And the bullets are always coming. There's nothing we can do about that. The stresses of life are always there. But it really is about unplugging people from the matrix.
Oh, my goodness. I have chills. I have goosebumps. I'm about to say hallelujah. Are you a reverend as well?
Well, yeah.
You actually are. I can see your Doctor of Divinity hanging on the wall right there. So I can see why I am inspired. And Mitch and I love to be inspired. And so do our viewers. So thank you. You often say that our systems feed into each other. What do you mean by that?
Well, that's huge. Our body systems feed into each other. A lot of times a person will say to me, well, my neck hurts. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do massage and I'll start working on their feet, and I can feel, even though they haven't said it, I can feel them thinking to themselves, what part of neck did you not hear? I said my neck hurt. What you doing on my feet? I want all my time on the neck. And I'm like, I can tell what's going on in the neck by doing reflexology points on the feet. There are different meridians all over the body that can tell you what's going on. And sometimes you have to do an energy release on the feet or in different points of the body in order to release that. So our systems feed into each other, and there's a very specific way of doing it. I actually have it written up on the board where lymph and plasma feed into the blood, and that feeds into muscle, which feeds into skin and fat. That feeds into the skeletal system, which feeds into the nerves, and then reproductive. And what's really interesting about that is that when I say the systems feed into each other, I mean if the lymphatic system has a glass of water and the reproductive system is thirsty, it has to get through all those systems in order to get that water to the reproductive system. Now, when women show up with fertility issues, for example, in middle age, it's not that they're infertile. I have a couple of women that came to me because they were infertile. I'm like, oh, no, you're not. You're not infertile. What's happening is that the glass of water is like a drip by the time it gets down, because there are all these traffic jams. So if you can imagine our systems feeding each other, and there are traffic jams in the systems that are keeping the body from doing what it needs to do, that's kind of the way to think about it. And so I had one woman that came to me who for 12 years was infertile. She thought, the doctor said, give it up, never going to have a kid, so she adopted a child. She came to me for digestive issues and some other issues as well. And so as we started working, I said, I noticed that you're having issues with your ankle. Do you have fertility issues? And she goes, no. And then we talked for about 10 minutes, and she goes, well, they told me I was infertile. Right. And I said, and then she looked at me like, well, what does the ankle have to do with that? The ankle is a reflex point for the genital organs. And so I knew if she was having issues with her ankle, then there was something going on with fertility. Well, she, as we started working on digestive issues and other issues, I said, look, you might get pregnant, and she looked at me like I was a witch at that point, like I was insane. I said, I just want you to know, when you fix one thing in the body, because the systems feed each other, you fix all things in the body. So you could get pregnant if for some reason you don't want to. I'm just telling you. Right. So I said this to her for each consultation for several months, and each time she looked at me like, you must be out of your mind. So we did, because it'd been 12 years, and she figured she'd just close the chapter on that. Right. So we did nutritional strategies, and I did some craniosacral therapy on her, and some therapeutic massage, and that's all we did. And that was in July that she came to see me, and in January she was pregnant.
Oh, fantastic. Happily, I assume.
Happily, and in shock. She's kind of still in shock